Something scary is going on with the Eagles defense, as Zack Baun just teased that Vic Fangio is about to take the Birds' already elite unit to the next level in 2026, which safe to say, that would be the NFL's worst nightmare. Plus, Jalyx Hunt seems ready to take another huge leap this season, while Jalen Carter is silencing the media narratives, and DeVonta Smith has become Makai Lemon's mentor. Speaking of which, the first-round rookie is starting to get some serious hype, and something he could win Rookie of the Year. So let's talk about all that and more, starting right now. So the countdown to Eagles training camp has officially begun. As the dates are official, the Birds, rookies and veterans included, will report to training camp for the first time on Tuesday, July 28th, and the first practice will likely be the next day on Wednesday, July 29th. So that gives us just about a month and a week before the ramp up for the regular season begins and football's officially back.
And here we go.
That's definitely super exciting, no doubt about it, but what I think is maybe even more exciting than that is the announcement of the joint practices with the Patriots coming in the late August, which yes, we knew about those, but the dates are now officially set, so the Birds will square off with the Pats in practice in Foxborough on Wednesday, August 19th and Thursday, August 20th, meaning that we'll get to see A.J. Brown go up against Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Riq Woolen, and the Eagles defense twice before the season, which, I mean, you can't really script it much better than that. Like, those battles are going to be epic.
Our battle will be legendary.
And what makes this even better is that these practices are reportedly open to the public. So if you want to make the trip up to Massachusetts to watch that battle and maybe heckle A.J. Brown a little bit, you can. Either way, though, that's obviously going to be a huge story this summer, but perhaps an even bigger story is that based on a new report, it seems like Vic Fangio is ready to take this Eagles defense to the next level this year, which is certainly a bold statement considering that Fangio's unit has been among the best in the NFL the past 2 seasons. I mean, back in 2024, the Birds defense was literally the best defense in the entire NFL. Like, they were an absolute juggernaut, they consistently controlled games, and dominated the most explosive offenses in the NFL week in and week out. I mean, they were number 1 in yards and passing yards allowed, they were just second in points allowed, coming in 0.1 point per game behind first place, and they were top 10 in run defense as well. And it all obviously culminated in an all-time performance against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, where they sacked Patrick Mahomes 6 times without blitzing once, and they had the Chiefs scoreless all the way until late in the third quarter when they were already down 34 points. I mean, they must have had Mahomes feeling like this. But it didn't stop in 2025, as even though they took a little bit of a step back, they were still 13th in yards allowed, 8th in passing yards allowed, and most importantly, they were 5th in scoring defense, which honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons that the Eagles were still able to win 11 games, despite the very well-documented struggles with the offense. I mean, the defense absolutely carried at times, consistently keeping the Birds in games that they had no business being in due to the offensive struggles, and holding some of the best offense in the league to incredibly low scoring totals. I mean, they held the Packers to just 7 points, the Lions to 9 points, and the Bills to 12 points, all in the same season. Mind you, 2 of those were road games, and the Eagles' scoring totals in those games were 10, 16, and 13 respectively, and they won all of them. So bottom line, yeah, like, the defense did take a step back from 2024, but they were still elite in 2025, and if the offense was actually functional, chances are the numbers would look a lot better too.
Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it.
No, I think I did have to say it, praying that Sean Mannion fixes that problem this year. But back to the defense, what's scary is that now going into 2026, this has the potential to be Vic Fangio's best Eagles defense yet, as the additions of Riq Woolen and Jonathan Grenard make this defense clearly an upgrade from last year's unit, purely just from a talent perspective, and they actually give the 2024 group a run for their money too. And now we have all-pro linebacker Zack Baun saying that Vic Fangio is getting set to take the defense to the next level, as he recently said this, quote, "I feel like he's taking things to the next level this year. Even with his own scheme, he continues to develop and tweak and change." And that right there is awesome, and one of the reasons why Vic Fangio is one of the best defensive coaches in NFL history. I mean, there's been so much talk of all the offensive changes coming for the Eagles this season with new OC Sean Mannion, and rightfully so, but we can't forget that Coach Vic is always adapting and changing and adjusting too. I mean, you can't stay exactly the same all the time. Offenses will catch on and figure out ways to beat you, so you gotta adjust to the adjustments, and it sounds like Fangio is doing exactly that. And, you know, the guy's an absolute mastermind, so I'm confident in whatever strategy he uses. And with the personnel that the Eagles got on that side of the ball, it's crazy to say this, but I honestly wouldn't be shocked if this is the best Eagles defense in the Vic Fangio era so far. And one of the most underrated parts of that is Jalyx Hunt. I mean, I genuinely think that the third-year edge rusher is in for a monster season, and not enough people are talking about it. Like, obviously, the Jonathan Grenard addition is huge. Like, I've said all offseason that I think he's going to lead the Eagles in sacks this year, and I still believe that. Like, I think he's going to have, like, 12-plus sacks at least, and then you got the star defensive tackle duo of Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis in the middle, who they get a lot of attention, and again, rightfully so, but then you got the three other ballers on the defensive line that are maybe a little bit more underrated, those being Moro Ojomo, Nolan Smith, who I also still do have a lot of belief in, and then you got Jalyx Hunt. And the reason that I have so much faith in him is because of just the clear upward trajectory that he's had throughout his entire career. Like, he came in 2024 as a third-round pick, and he was expected to be just a developmental player, like a project, given that he was coming from a very small school in Houston Christian, and he had just transitioned from safety a few years before that. But about halfway through his rookie season, Hunt started seeing more snaps due to some injuries on the D-line, and by the time the playoffs rolled around, he was a key part of the Birds' edge rusher rotation and made several big plays. And then the next year in 2025, Hunt made a huge leap forward, leading the Eagles in both sacks with 6.5 and interceptions with 3, which, when you think about it, like, it's just insane, especially considering, again, how low the expectations were when he was initially drafted. And now he's getting set for year 3, and he was one of the biggest stars of the entire spring. In fact, in one practice, he had a pick and a sack, and pretty much everybody that talks about him, whether it's a teammate or a coach, absolutely raves about Hunt and his potential. So I'm expecting another huge leap from the third-year edge rusher this season. I'm calling it right now. He's going to have at least 8 sacks, but I could definitely see over 10, but give me your guys' predictions down in the comments below. Obviously, the big story right now, though, with this defensive line is what's been going on with Jalen Carter and his pending contract extension. As, of course, we've gotten recent reports saying that the Eagles have been hesitant to pay him due to maybe injuries or perceived quote-unquote character concerns, which, of course, that's the one that everyone's latched onto.
He's a menace to the entire city!
But here's the thing. Number one, I've said, throughout this whole situation that I'm not too worried about it, and I do still think that whether it's this offseason or next offseason, an extension will eventually get done, hopefully, fingers crossed, before this year. But even if you are worried about those quote-unquote character concerns, I think you have to give Carter some credit there, because he has handled this whole situation with class. I mean, he could be completely holding out and making a big deal out of this whole thing and just causing unnecessary drama, but instead, he was at mandatory minicamp. He himself or his camp haven't commented on this contract situation. They haven't made a scene. Carter's also been working very hard this offseason to make sure that his shoulders are right for this season. And just this past weekend, the star defensive tackle was out walking around in Philly at the Art Museum, taking pictures with fans who were there for the World Cup, and he even said, quote, "It's crazy. This city loves sports no matter what it is." So to me, that doesn't really sound like a guy who's disgruntled. It sounds like a guy who loves Philly and wants to be here. And also, just looking at this character concerns narrative in general, sure, him spitting on Dak Prescott in the season opener last year was a really bad look, and there have also been, a couple plays here and there that were a bit questionable, but as far as, like, the off-the-field stuff and in the locker room, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's been absolutely no problems there since Jalen Carter got to Philadelphia. In fact, Nick Sirianni actually recently named Carter as one of 10 guys that are leaders and core players for this football team. So really, I think this whole thing is overblown, to be honest with you guys. And, again, fingers crossed, I'm hoping an extension still gets done before this season. Switching from defense to offense, though, a lot of the talk there recently has been at the wide receiver position, and specifically with first-round rookie Makai Lemon, because the USC product has been getting a lot of hype recently, first with Bill Williamson of SB Nation listing him as one of the 5 best bets to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, as he wrote, quote, "I think the rest of the league is going to be very upset that the Philadelphia Eagles landed Lemon with the number 20 overall pick, famously trading up to steal him away from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lemon's a dynamic playmaker who's capable of delivering highlight reel plays on a weekly basis. The USC product is priced at 15-1. The only thing I'm worried about is whether he'll be able to get enough total touches, because he likely won't be a number 1 receiver right away, so his numbers may not be as big as some of the wide receivers, but expect instant excellence." And that last phrase right there is the one that gets me excited. Expect instant excellence from Makai Lemon. I completely buy it. I mean, he's got all the traits that he needs to succeed at the NFL level, which actually, Geoffrey Knox just wrote an article going through 4 traits that Lemon has that will immediately translate to the NFL, those being his elite route running, which we've known about and we've already gotten to see during practice, also his ability to beat physical press coverage, his underrated toughness and physicality, and his willingness and ability as a blocker. I mean, all those things are going to serve him very well, and that's not even mentioning his catch and traffic ability, his run after the catch, and his work ethic and mentality, because Lemon's got the drive to be great, and also he has got the perfect mentor to help him make this transition to the NFL in DeVonta Smith.
Who's been your biggest mentor so far with the Eagles offense?
My biggest mentor, I'll probably say, that's a tough one. I'll probably say Smitty. Definitely just the way he works, the way he carries himself. Just being a leader. He's been in the league for so long, so just seeing how he works, how he does things. I'm looking at that, and he's definitely leading me in the right path.
Shout out to Jesse Sharon for this clip. I actually went to the same high school as this kid and was there, I think, 3 years with him. So, I don't think he knows me, but it's super cool to see that, he's out there as a legit member of the media. But, also, what better person for Lemon to learn from than DeVonta Smith? Obviously, Smitty's an amazing player with a great skill set, and he actually has a lot of the same traits as Lemon. And on top of that, he's also obviously the ultimate professional, great locker room guy, great leader, no drama, and super hard worker. So love to see Smitty really stepping up into that leadership role, and he really is the perfect mentor for Makai Lemon. And this has the potential to be the next superstar wide receiver duo in Philadelphia, so glad to see that they're off to a great start.
Did we just become best friends? Yup!
And also, it was definitely awesome to see the photos and videos coming out from DeVonta Smith's wedding over the weekend. Congrats to him and his wife Maya. And for us Eagles fans, I think the biggest takeaway is that Jalen Hurts was there in attendance. You can see him here and his wife Bree in some photos, including one that Smitty gave to People's Magazine, which that's the only photo that he gave to the magazine that had a teammate in it. So wide receiver one is clearly sending a message about his relationship with his quarterback. And obviously Hurts wasn't at AJ Brown's wedding and everyone made a huge deal out of that. So thank goodness he was there with Smitty and we don't have to listen to all these insufferable media outlets and narratives making a big deal out of it. And also, by the way, AJ was at Smitty's wedding, so it's nice to see that. But it's also clear that Smitty and Jalen are really, really close. So you love to see that as well. And also love to see Jalen having a good time at the wedding, dancing. I think this is hilarious because Jalen just gives off that old school vibe, and I love it. And also, love to see the rookie tight end Eli Stowers attending Tight End University, which in case you don't know, that's an event every summer where tight ends around the league come together to train and learn from each other, founded by George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and Greg Olsen. And this year, it's actually at Vanderbilt, which is where Stowers went to college. So it makes a lot of sense that he's there, and hopefully he's able to learn a lot, particularly about blocking during this event, because we know that's the main area he's got to work on, and definitely hoping that he's able to make an impact this year. And also, in more news, the NFL is opting to not hold a supplemental draft this summer, so the Brendan Sorsby rumors are officially dead, which I think that's good news for us Eagles fans. And what else is good news is that the Eagles' entire draft class is now officially signed, as Markel Bell officially put pen to paper today. So again, great news there. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we're officially in the countdown to Eagles training camp, and I'm going to be putting out a ton more content and coverage in the lead up to that. And also, of course, once it gets here, I'm going to be covering everything from those practices. So if you don't want to miss anything, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, drop a like down below to show some support. It really does help me out a ton. See if we can get to at least 500 likes today. That would be greatly appreciated. Also, hit the hype button because that helps me out a ton as well. And just leave a comment regarding anything that I talked about in this video. And if you do want to watch another Eagles video talking about how Ty Robinson could maybe be in trouble, an update to the Jalen Carter situation, among other things, you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.